Hi, I'm Charlotte. At 35, I never thought I'd be telling a story about how my perfect life turned into a made for TV drama. But here we are. I've always been the organized one, the planner, keeping our Victorian house in perfect order, just like my grandmother taught me. That Tuesday morning started like any other. I was getting ready for my weekly lunch with Grandma Diana when I noticed something off about our antique cabinet. The family silver collection pieces that had been in our family for 4 generations looked sparse. Hey, Marcus, have you moved any of the silver sets recently? The cabinet looks different. Nah, babe. Maybe you reorganized it last week? He barely looked up from his phone, which was weird since he usually can't keep his eyes off me in the morning. I started counting pieces, my heart racing. The Victorian tea set was gone. So was great-great-grandmother's silver jewelry box. These weren't just valuable items. They were irreplaceable pieces of our family history. At lunch, Diana immediately noticed something was wrong. She's 82, but sharp as a tack. Your eyes are worried, sweetheart. What's eating at you? The silver collection. Some pieces are missing. Her face went pale. Which ones? As I listed them, her hands started shaking. Those pieces survived 2 wars, Charlotte. Your great-grandmother smuggled them out during the Revolution. I called my best friend Sarah after lunch. She's known Marcus as long as I have. Something's not adding up, Sarah. He's been working late, always on his phone. Girl, I didn't want to say anything, but I saw him at Riverside Cafe last week. He was supposed to be at a client meeting downtown. What? With who? He was alone, but that new neighbor of yours, what's her name, Jenny? She kept walking by his table. My stomach churned. Jenny had moved in 6 months ago, 20-something, always jogging past our house in tiny shorts. I'd caught Marcus watching her more than once. I started going through Marcus's desk while he was showering. Nothing in the drawers, nothing in his files. Then I found it, stuffed in an old jacket pocket, a receipt from Golden Crown Pawn Shop. My hands trembled as I read the itemized list. The tea set, the jewelry box, everything. You going out tonight? Marcus appeared in the doorway, hair still wet. Just some errands. I forced a smile, tucking the receipt into my pocket. Don't wait up. I sat in my car for an hour, staring at that piece of paper. 5 generations of family history, reduced to a dollar amount. But it wasn't just about the silver anymore. As I watched Jenny pull into her driveway next door, I realized this was just the beginning. Looking back now, I should have seen it coming. The late nights, the password changes on his phone, the way he'd jump every time he got a text. But sometimes you don't want to see what's right in front of you. Well, now I was seeing everything crystal clear, and I was done being blind. The pawn shop owner barely looked up from his magazine when I walked in. Golden Crown Pawn was exactly what you'd expect. Dusty glass cases and fluorescent lights that made everything look cheap. These items came in last week. I spread photos of our family silver across the counter. I need to know what you paid for them. Can't disclose that information, ma'am. They're stolen family heirlooms. I have proof of ownership. He straightened up, suddenly interested. The guy said they were inherited. Tall dude, designer watch, came in with a younger woman. My blood ran cold. Blonde? About 25? That's her. They seemed pretty cozy. I left with copies of the transaction records, my hands shaking so bad I could barely drive. At the bank, things got worse. Marcus's regular account showed normal activity, but the teller's eyes widened when I mentioned additional accounts. Mrs. Thompson, there's another account opened 6 months ago. Joint account with a Jennifer Martinez. Outside the bank, I literally ran into someone. Mike, Jenny's ex, who'd moved out of her place 3 months ago. Charlotte, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. Did you know? About Jenny and my husband? His face darkened. I should have warned you sooner. This is her pattern. When we were together, she started pushing me to sell my car, empty my savings account. Said we'd invest in our future. Then I caught her with some guy from her office. She'd already drained our joint account. Why didn't you press charges? By the time I figured it all out, she'd already moved the money. She's smart, Charlotte, really smart. And Marcus is her new target. Back home, I found Marcus in his office. We need to talk about the missing silver. Not this again. I told you, maybe your grandmother moved it. Funny you mentioned Diana. She's coming over with the insurance photos. His face twitched. What insurance photos? The ones she took last year. Every piece documented and appraised. Look, you're being paranoid. I've got work. Like your work meeting with Jenny at Riverside Cafe? He froze. You're spying on me now? Didn't have to. This town's smaller than you think. Diana arrived an hour later, clutching a thick envelope. There's more missing than we thought, sweetheart. Your grandfather's cufflinks, the pearl necklace from Vienna, those weren't in the cabinet. No, they were in your bedroom safe. Only family knew about that. I felt sick. Marcus had been systematically emptying our house, piece by piece. Later that night, after Marcus left for another client meeting, I checked his laptop. He'd forgotten to close his email. There it was, confirmation of a rental application. 2-bedroom apartment across town, starting next month. Primary resident, Marcus Thompson. Secondary resident, Jennifer Martinez. I sat there in the dark, scrolling through their exchanges. Vacation plans, bank statements, photos of my family's treasures with dollar signs attached. They'd been planning this for months, calculating exactly how much they could take. Well, I had some calculations of my own to make. First thing next morning, I met with Robert, our family lawyer, in his downtown office. He reviewed the pawn shop receipts and bank statements while I paced. Well, this is quite the paper trail you've gathered. Is it enough? For divorce proceedings, absolutely. For criminal charges, we need more concrete evidence of the theft. What kind of evidence? Video footage, audio recordings of admission, documented proof of sales. And most importantly, proof that these items weren't given willingly. I pulled out my phone, showing him the rental application. They're planning to move in together next month. That changes things. We need to move fast. I have a friend in digital security. 2 days later, our house had more cameras than a reality TV show. Every room, every entrance, even the garage. Mike helped install trackers on both cars. Turns out he works in auto electronics. Jenny's going to slip up, he said, connecting the last device. She always does when she thinks she's winning. I organized a family dinner for Saturday. Grandparents, cousins, the whole clan. Marcus couldn't say no without raising suspicions. I also made sure to casually mention to Jenny that we'd be showcasing some family heirlooms. The night before the dinner, I accidentally left open a web page about antique appraisals. Marcus took the bait. You're still obsessing over that old silver? Just curious what it's worth, especially great-grandma's jewelry box. His face twitched. Why now? Oh, Diana mentioned some pieces might be museum quality, worth 5 figures each. The next evening, everyone gathered around our dining table. Marcus kept checking his phone while Jenny hung around the edges of the room, playing the role of helpful neighbor. Since we're all here, I stood up, tablet in hand. I wanted to share something interesting about our family treasures. Marcus nearly choked on his wine. I connected the tablet to our TV. Security footage filled the screen. Marcus and Jenny removing items from the safe, their late-night meetings, pawn shop visits. What is this? Marcus jumped up. Funny thing about old houses. Lots of hiding places for cameras. Jenny made a dash for the door, but Mike was faster. Going somewhere? Like that new apartment across town? Diana stared at the footage, tears in her eyes. Those were your grandfather's dying gifts, Marcus. How could you... It's not what it looks like. Really? I pulled out a stack of papers. Because these bank statements, pawn shop records, and rental applications tell a pretty clear story. Oh, and Jenny, those texts about fence values and black market buyers? Not very subtle. You went through my phone? Didn't have to. You used our home Wi-Fi. Every message, every search, all logged. Marcus lunged for the papers, but Robert stepped forward. I wouldn't do that. Everything's already documented and filed with the proper authorities. The room erupted in chaos. Relatives shouting, Jenny crying, Marcus trying to explain. But I just stood there, watching it all unfold, feeling lighter than I had in months. The police are on their way, Robert announced over the commotion. I suggest everyone stay right where they are. The courthouse hallway felt endless as I waited for the final hearing. 3 months of legal battles had drained everyone, but today would end it all. Robert sat beside me, reviewing his notes one last time. The DA's evidence is solid. They can't wiggle out of this one. Inside the courtroom, Marcus and Jenny sat with their lawyers, both looking considerably less polished than they used to. Living in a motel after their apartment lease fell through had taken its toll. Your Honor, we've reached a plea agreement, the DA announced. The defendants will make full restitution, serve community service, and face probation. And the items? I whispered to Robert. Already traced. Most were recovered from various pawn shops and private buyers. After the hearing, Sarah grabbed my arm in the hallway. Did you see the news? Jenny's company just announced her termination. Apparently, stealing from your spouse's family doesn't align with their ethics policy. What about Marcus's firm? Partners voted him out last week. Nobody wants a financial advisor who steals family heirlooms. Later that afternoon, I overheard 2 realtors outside Jenny's empty house. Can't believe she thought she'd get away with it. Every real estate office in town has blacklisted her. Heard she's moving back in with her parents in Ohio. Good luck finding work there. Stories all over social media. At home, Diana helped me unpack the recovered items. Each piece coming back felt like reuniting with old friends. Remember when you were little? She polished the tea set gently. You'd insist on using the fancy cups for your doll's tea parties. You never said no, even though I was so clumsy. Because you treated them with respect, even then, unlike some people who only saw dollar signs. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Please, can we talk? I know I messed up. I'll do anything to fix this. I deleted it without responding. Another message popped up. Jenny this time. It wasn't my idea. Marcus approached me first. I can prove it. Delete. They're really desperate, Diana observed, arranging the silver candlesticks. They should have thought about that before trying to auction off our memories. The doorbell rang. More delivery boxes from the evidence department. Mike had helped track down buyers across 3 states. Last batch, the courier said. Sign here. Inside the final box, wrapped in evidence bags, my grandfather's cufflinks, the ones he wore at my wedding, I placed them back in their rightful spot in the cabinet. You know what's funny? I carefully arranged the pearl necklace from Vienna next to them. Marcus always said family heirlooms were just stuff taking up space, but he sure knew their value when he needed quick cash. Some people never understand that real value isn't about money. Diana squeezed my hand. It's about legacy. I closed the cabinet doors, this time with a new security system Mike had installed. The glass reflected our faces, 3 generations of women standing tall. Speaking of legacy, I smiled at Diana. Tell me again about great-grandma smuggling these pieces during the Revolution. I want to make sure I get the story right for future generations. If you discovered your spouse was not only cheating, but systematically selling your irreplaceable family heirlooms, would you take the legal route like Charlotte did? Or would you handle things differently? What would your revenge plan look like? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have given Marcus and Jenny a chance to explain? Or do some betrayals go too deep for second chances? If you enjoyed this story of justice served cold, hit that like button and subscribe for more revenge tales that'll make you think. Don't forget to ring that notification bell to catch the next story as soon as it drops. See you in the next video.